All right, so you've been playing the free common competitions on Sorare NBA and you're ready to get into the limited competition. This week in the Discord, somebody asked me the cheapest and best ways to get started in playing limited. So in this video, I'm going to take on that question and give you 3 of my best tips that should help you out. One of the main reasons you might want to do this is because the limited competitions is kind of where the real money starts on Sorare NBA. By earning these limited cards, these are the ones that you can sell on the marketplace, either use that cash as profit or to level up your collection in the limited or even rare, super rare, or unique competition. The strategy that I'm going to talk about today has helped me earn 3 top 150 placings in the limited champion competition, which has earned me 3 rare cards. I'm hoping to get my 4th this week. I've gotten about $300 worth of value on these cards. My first one was a Grant Williams, second one was a Vucevic, and my third one just this past week was a Kyle Lowry. I've only spent about $250 to get that type of return, so I hope this video is helpful for you. In addition to that, we'll do a giveaway and we'll talk about game weeks 21 through 23. Let's go. Happy New Year, everyone. I'm Eric, and this is the weekly episode on Sorare NBA, the very first of 2023, and I couldn't be more excited for the year ahead. We're going to get straight into it today. Hopefully a lot of value in this video for you. If you haven't started on Sorare NBA yet, it is a free-to-play game. You can play the common contest for free. You can get started with 20 free cards, including an NBA superstar. Take a look at the link in the description of the video. If you've been playing Sorare and you're looking to take a step up from common to limited competitions or even limited to rare competitions like I am, this is going to be a great video for you. Help me out by hitting that subscribe button and liking the video. If you want to join my free Discord community and hang out during the week, the links are down below along with my other socials. In my last video, I asked you to comment and let me know what the best reward that you've gotten on Sorare is, and the winner would receive a limited card. Congrats to Eric Everett. Thanks for everybody who participated. I'll be sending over this Matisse Thybulle. I'm not sure if there's another giveaway going down this week. I'm going to keep you on your toes, but there's definitely going to be more in the future for YouTube subscribers and also occasionally on Twitter and in the Discord. I still want to know, though, down in the comments section, the question of the week: what's the highest level of competition that you've ever played on Sorare NBA? Is it common, limited, rare, super rare? Let me know down there below and throw your Sorare username down there while you're at it. All right, let's get into these tips in this week's video. Everything's bookmarked down below for your convenience. Let's zoom in. All right, here's the lineup last week that helped me earn my 3rd rare. It was that Kyle Lowry. We got 100th out of 7,000 entrants in the limited champion competition. 3 of my guys were top scorers on the week: Edwards, Paul George, and Zach LaVine. A lot of the guys that I use and the advice that I'll be giving can be applied towards both the limited champion and the limited contender competitions. But when you first get started, you want to make sure that you're entering the right competitions for your budget. And I think that if you're just getting started, the limited contender is probably going to be the best way to go. I'll explain why in just a second, because getting into that right competition is my very first tip. Scroll down, take a look at the top players and overperformers. These are going to be the guys that get you into the money and that you want to focus on. Like I said already, LaVine, Edwards, and Paul George all got there for me. Outperformers is going to be a huge one too, especially in stuff like the limited contender competitions with the lower cap amount. The last thing that we'll note here before we go in to look at the competitions for the upcoming week is that limited champion is going to have less participants than limited contender. 7,500 in this one as opposed to 9,500 in last week's contender competition. I usually just pick one of those to focus on making my best lineup for the week, depending on what I think my best chances of winning will be. So hit this play tab, go to upcoming, and you'll see right here, limited contender and limited champion. Take a look at the rewards here, okay? Regardless of the score, they are paying out about double the amount of rewards that you can get in this limited champion competition. Yes, you are able to earn rares here. So if you really want to go after it, you think you have a chance to get in the top 150, then you could go after these rare rewards. But if you want to just earn more limited cards to bolster your collection or your gallery and then use those to sell or trade and upgrade, then your higher probabilities are definitely in that limited contender competition. And that's what I recommend doing. Higher payout amounts in limited rewards come with the contender. Obviously, the caps are different. 110 with no MVP versus 120 with an MVP. Totally different ball game. So definitely take consideration into which ones that you want to enter based on what your lineup can project to score. That's a perfect segue into my tip number 2 is the scoring and how to identify some players that can outperform their cap. Before we do that, just a couple of seconds here, a quick segue. I have won these prizes so far, $288 worth of value, and I've spent only $255 on my limited cards. I haven't bought any rare cards yet. I might do that soon so I could start getting into those rare competitions. But like I said, all this video will make sense as a whole when I go through my tips here. The first one was to get into the right competition. And the second one, we will look at scoring so that we can help out in finding overperformers for our roster. And one of the things that I really like to do is go after guys who have potential to boom in categories with high amounts of points. Blocks, 3 points. Steals, 3 points. Made 3-pointers, an additional 1 point. So those 3 things I really like to take a look at. Guys with low caps that may have a lot of blocks in one game, a lot of steals in one game, a lot of 3 points made in one game. Again, you don't have to have this person go off every time, because if you're playing in a game week, chances are they'll have 2 games, so you can spread out the risk a little bit. That's definitely a tip that I like to take a look at. But just go over to ESPN.com and look at the scoring leaders if you want to go into guys like this, and then you can look over into the marketplace and see which ones make sense value-wise. A prime example here is a guy like Brook Lopez, who I have in my limited champion competition this week. I'm in 886 currently, hoping for a big game from Paul George tonight, which could potentially put me up into the rare category again. He gets another 30 points there. I'm sitting at 267. Then I may have a chance to get another rare card. If not, then maybe a upgraded limited card, like a limited tier 2 or limited tier 3 would be nice. But Brook Lopez, for example, take a look at his stats from the game on January 3rd. Blocks, 6 of them. Huge boom potential. This guy was like a 28 cap, and you'll notice a lot of the people who are up in the top tier have this Brook Lopez, because 28 going up to 65 is a nice big jump. He also had a steal, only 1 turnover. Guys, turnovers could be a killer when it comes to points. So if you have a guy that's turning the ball over a lot, I remember having lots of turnovers just kill me once. Rebounds is also a big one. So he had 12 rebounds, 6 blocks, and a steal. Massive defensive performance. So I like to take a look at guys who have defensive ability to boom, just like that Brook Lopez example here. So you go into categories, NBA stat leaders, and just look at the guys who are leading in blocks. Also, at the same time, a guy that's getting a lot of blocks can be also getting a lot of rebounds. That can combine for a very nice game. There's also guys that are lighting up the scoreboards with 3-pointers. Maybe some of them are getting also some steals for you as well. Some guys who shoot threes, sneaky guys that can get a steal, maybe 2, 3 steals, 4 steals a game if you get lucky. That's just boom potential right there in the amount of points that you can end up racking up. So I usually try to group those 2 together. I group the blocks and rebounds, and then I also group the 3-pointers and steals. Just try to find guys that are in the top 20, top 30, top 40 guys that are sleepers in both of those categories, so that you have the ability to have big scores, just like I showed you with Brook Lopez. Again, remember, these guys don't have to go off every single night for you to hit. If they have 2 or 3 games within a 3 or 4 day game week, then you only need one of those to be big. So that's been helpful for me with a guy like Max Strus. Also, he hits a bunch of 3-pointers, can put up a big score. I think his cap was a 20, and I got a 32 out of him, which is nice. Jordan Poole has the 50-plus point potential, especially when a guy like Curry's out. Take into consideration injuries and all that kind of stuff when you're looking to add to your lineup. And that is something that I like to look at too. Those are just some ways that you can take a look at guys who are going to put up points and then use the marketplace to go from there. I would identify the guys that you want and put them onto a list, and then take a look at manager sales and also the new card auctions, because sometimes you can get better deals on new card auctions than you can in the market. There are a ton of good filters. I've made a bunch of other videos on this, but just slide the scale. The average cap for a contender is 22 points. That's a good starting place. You can go with guys higher than that, obviously guys lower than that. Recommend having one anchor to your lineup, which is going to be my next third tip here. And I think it's a pretty good one too, because you are going to have to spend a little bit of money to get started, but I think there's definite ways that you can find a lot of value for about a $30 range on one player that can anchor your roster. For this portion of the video, I'm going to take you over to Sorare data. I've done a full video on this if you want to check that out. I'm in the projections tab on Game Week Center right now. You can sort a couple of different ways. You can use best projected game. You can use the difference, which is a nice one to find guys who are projected to overperform. It shows you what games are coming up and what matchups are coming up on the week, which is definitely important to look at too. And I love how it shows you what their projected best game is right next to their last 10 or their cap number. So let's just take a look at best projected game and try to find some guys who could be that anchor to your roster. Guys who aren't super expensive on the marketplace, but still have a high cap and or not high cap, but kind of like a mid cap range in the 30s to 40s that could have potential of 60 plus points any given night. One of those guys that I like to look at is Zach LaVine for sure. 36 cap, projected at a 39 as the highest score, but again, had a 67. The guy shoots a lot of three-pointers. Jimmy Butler also can go off on any given night. Guys like Russell Westbrook, Klay Thompson. Let's take a look at some of these guys on the marketplace right now. Some of my favorites I'll give you some tips on here. The first one being Zach LaVine, $28 for a 36 cap. But like I said, the guy shoots a lot of three-pointers, has a high scoring potential. 67 points was on my list last week and has helped me earn a couple of different rare rewards up to date. Another guy who just had a big 70-plus point game last night, you can find around $30, Fred VanVleet, three-point shooter, double-double type of guy. Get those extra points where you can, because really the main point and what I'm trying to get at here, guys, is that you really only need 5 players to get started. It's not like you have to buy something new every single week. What I've done is that I started pretty simply. Like I was basically putting the same lineup together each week in the same competition, maybe swapping 1 or 2 guys out at a time. I decided that I wanted to go after both the limited champion and the limited contender, but you can very well do this just with the limited contender. Make sure that you're keeping your cap in there at the 110 range for your 5 players. You can do this all for about, I would say definitely easily doable in the less than a $100 price point. So once you have that guy for about $30 that you want to anchor your roster, just build around him. You can use that Fred, you can use the Zach LaVine. You can get both of those guys in there and then put a couple of players that are a little bit lower cost or rewards that you've maybe won from the common competitions. That's always helpful. But then again, you can earn more and more limited cards and then use those to trade up as you go. Maybe get into those limited champion competitions if you want to start winning those and get into the rares. Just keep trading up. Basically set your lineup, earn limited cards, rinse and repeat. It's kind of what my strategy has been, and it's worked out so far. Again, 3 rares, hoping to get a 4th this week, and a couple of other limited wins as well. I'll show you the spreadsheet one more time. Baisley, Little, Thibault, Grant Williams, rare, Vooch, rare, Lowry, rare, $288 in value. And I've spent, again, $255 so far. My most notable Buys have been Devin Booker at 44, Paul George at 38, Zach LaVine at 24. I got all of these guys on auction, by the way. Anthony Edwards on auction. So make sure you're taking a look at the auctions as well. And then the other guys I kind of just used to fill in. Jordan Poole was one other one that I got at auction at 28 also. Prices obviously skyrocketed on that. These I got, I think, around game week 7. Prices have gone up since then. I know Luke Kennard is around $10 now. I was able to get him at $3. So just constantly monitor the marketplace, find people that will be nice fits to your weekly lineups. And you don't have to go crazy buying a ton of players. You can start with 5, see how it goes, play those guys for a couple of weeks. Hopefully you're winning on somewhat of a consistent basis, and you can plug in, some of the free cards that you get into your lineup and help you win more and more and more. And there you go. Those are my 3 tips to help you get started with the limited competition. If you're cutting out from here, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. Let's go take a look at what we have left for game weeks 22 and upcoming game week 23 before we cut the video. This part will be very short and brief this week. All right, here's a live look. And this is going to be another little tip too. So if you stuck around, then awesome. Thanks for sticking around. Hopefully this is helpful for you. I have a good chance at getting maybe another rare if Paul George has a big game, or even a improved position on a limited card. Hopefully I can get up into that limited tier 2 range today. This was the main one that I focused on this week. Didn't really put much effort into the limited contender, or at least didn't have a great performance because Duncan Robinson got injured with the -2. So definitely made the right plays for what I was given in this limited champion. So I'm happy about that. Again, hoping for a big game from Paul George tonight. But don't sleep on these common competitions, you guys. Look at this common contender right here. I'm projected for a common tier 1. I'm also thinking that I can get up into the common tier 1 for this common all offense competition. I need to be in the top 3% on that one. This one, I only need to be in the top 10%. So I'm already locked into another common tier 1. That'll just add to the big time players that I'm able to put in the common competitions and help me potentially win. I mean, I got Giannis, LaMelo Ball. I have guys like Kevin Durant. I also have Ja Morant. I have Kawhi Leonard. So the more commons that you have in your arsenal, the better chances that you're going to have in these special competitions to keep on leveling up as you go. Game week still has 4 games to go. The top scorers are Julius Randle with 62, Luka with 62, LeBron with 63, Embiid and KD with 64, Fred with 68, DeMar with 69, Giannis and Clay with 75, and Donovan Mitchell with 100. The outperformers are Fred, Buddy Hield, Drew Eubanks, Draymond with a 50 this week, Montrezl Harrell with a big week, Trey Mann with a 47, huge overperformance, 33 overperforming his cap. Brooke Lopez, who I have in my lineup, nice over 34. Dennis Schroeder, Klay Thompson, and then Donovan, of course, at the top with that 100 this week. Good luck on that one, guys. We're going to take a look at game week 23 just really briefly. We got some new competitions this week. Don't forget to set those lineups. I'm going to go to the upcoming tab and just take a look at what we have coming up. Remember, like I said, these things are important to take a look at. You want to always up your collection in the best way possible. So look right here. The top 10% of this competition get tier 1 common cards. I mean, like, tier 1 common is a tier 1 common. There are no capped competitions out there like we saw for Christmas. So, I mean, if we get another chance for a uncapped competition, you're going to want all your tier 1 guys in there. The common champion is not the same. Look, the common champion, obviously you get a chance at limited cards, but you got to place in the top 1,000 out of 70,000, 80,000 people. Just insanely hard to do. And then only the top 15% get tier 2 common. So, my preference would be to kind of just lock in the common contender first, make sure that I'm getting top 10%, and then the common champion after that. Every single person that enters the common contender will get a reward. There's also a veterans competition. 15% of the entrants get that. So you have to get in the top 15. Only the top 3% get a common tier 1. The 12 through 15 get a tier 5. So you're definitely going to want to, again, I would just think go after the common contender as your number one priority. Try to get in the top 10% and get that common tier 1. It's going to be a lot harder in the ones where you need a top 3% finish. But it's cool that they're introducing these new competitions like the common veterans, and then the limited under 23 is a cool one too. These players have to be 23 years of age at the most. But again, there's only 100 limited rewards in that. So definitely some nice rewards, but I wouldn't be making that the top priority with only 100 rewards in there. The top 3 obviously get some big time rewards, but it's going to be really hard to place in it. So again, I would be looking at the common contender, try to get that common tier 1 if you're playing in the commons. And then also I'd be really looking at this limited contender or the limited champion if you're playing limiteds. I will decide later on whether or not I'm going after these rares or if I'm going to put my best lineup forward for the limited contender this week. It's going to depend on matchups. I'm going to use Sorare data to take a look at what my best options are and do a little bit of research going into the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday game week. Just for fun, the last part of this video, let's take a look at who we have here. I only have 4 guys that are 23 and under. This is a MVP style format. So put Jordan Poole, Baisley, and Anthony Edwards in there. I'm just going to save these guys for my limited champion or contender. I'm not even going to fill out a roster for this limited under 23 this week. Unfortunately, just 100 limited cards isn't enough, with my current gallery to get competitive in that space. All right, there you have it. Thank you for watching, and thank you for subscribing to the channel. Good luck in game week 23, 24, 25. I will see you on next week's video. We have a great 2023 ahead, so stay tuned for everything here at NFTY Sports. I will see you on the next one.